Hey everybody, this is Brandon Ford and welcome to the Blind Rage podcast. I'm very excited, as always, to have Tony the Tiger, aka the Thunder from Down Under, back with me.
G'day and happy to be here with you.
And we are doing Wes Craven's Shocker this time around. And how familiar with this movie are you?
I have seen it maybe less than a dozen times.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while since my last viewing, but let's say maybe about 4 years. So I'm happy to give it a look-see again.
Mm-hmm.
How familiar are you with it?
I wouldn't say that I'm as well. I've seen it a good number of times. I wouldn't say that I've seen it as many times as I've seen like the Elm Street movies.
Yeah.
But I've seen it a fair bit. Yeah, I've seen it a fair bit. We will talk about that in a moment, but first I have to get the plugs out of the way. So I'd like to encourage everybody to please go to Amazon.com or the Amazon app on your phone and type in Brandon Ford to check out my books as well as my Amazon author page. You can hit follow to get notifications whenever I have a new title. You can also check out my books in audiobook format by going to audible.com or the Audible app, typing in Brandon Ford. You can follow me on Instagram at writer Brandon Ford. I am also on both Twitter and Letterboxd at Brandon Ford. Tony the Tiger is on Letterboxd as at Tony_the_bear. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, suggestions, recommendations, feel free to email me directly at blindragepod81@gmail.com. Lastly, please do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It only takes a couple seconds to hit the drop down and select a star rating. It would be most appreciated and help me get some attention in the algorithms. So, I have to ask, before we get started, have you seen anything noteworthy recently?
Well, the last thing I reviewed was Evil Laugh, which I hadn't seen. I hadn't seen in decades, and I only realized that I had seen it before, because there's a scene where somebody stabs through a mattress and then caresses an ass, and I remembered that when I was young. I was like, oh,
when you said that there was a scene that triggered your memory of it, I thought you were going to tell me about the microwave scene.
No, not at all. I hardly remember that. I remember the one more in Last House on the Left remake.
That's so stupid. So, did you like Evil Laugh this time around?
I gave it 2 stars. Generally, with those type of movies, I'll rate that type of movie. It didn't disappoint me. And I've spoken before about if a movie disappoints me, then I give it low stars, regardless of things that I like about it. Like I watched Mum and Dad, I think it's called, with Selma Blair and Nick Cage, and I had such hopes for that, and that just disappointed me in the end. Whereas Evil Laugh was just predictable fare. It's people getting butchered. They have a setting. There's a killer.
Yeah, it's a body count movie.
Yeah.
And that was like around the time when people were still trying to cash in on those kinds of movies. So it's
like sort of in the early 80s it had its growth period, and by now it had a sort of bust, and
yeah, but there were people who really didn't have any talent or vision when it came to filmmaking, and they always say that the cheapest if you want to make a movie, horror is the cheapest way to go. And it's the easiest to sell. So Anything else?
No, yourself?
I saw Village of the Damned for the first time, the John Carpenter one.
With Christopher Reeves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
lovely.
and Kirstie Alley. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought that it could have done with a little more exposition,
Oh,
but
okay.
I thought it was decent, and I thought it was going to be one of those like 2 hour plus movies, but I think it was a tight 90. So it said what it needed to say and did what it needed to do in an acceptable amount of time. So
see, the movie we're about to watch is 150, which
150.
Thinking back, I think it could have been shorter.
Yeah. Yeah, and this in Village of the Damned, I found Kirstie Alley's character to be likable enough for me to forget how crazy she is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that. And I started to revisit The Frighteners, which I haven't seen in a long time. But I didn't finish it. Not because not because it was bad, but because I was distracted by something. But it was kind of to me. It was, at least I know it gets a bit darker.
Yeah. As it gets towards the end,
yeah. But at the beginning, it was kind of like a mishmash of Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Death Becomes Her, like all garbled together.
It was very Zemeckis at the beginning.
Yeah, very much so. And even the I think it was Danny Elfman's score. It was it was very was it Beetlejuice? It was very reminiscent of another one of his scores.
Of like Tales from the Crypt?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember, but it was jumping out at me when I was listening to the audio describe. I saw something else, but I don't quite remember what it was. But I think it is on it might still be on my iPod.
Oh, I watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show the other day, and I gave that one 5 stars. It's always one that I there are certain films I give 5 stars to, and that was one of them.
Of course. Classic.
Well, just to date us, every Friday the 13th, my local cinema plays it, but we weren't able to get to it this time around, so I just watched it on DVD.
12:49 a.m. My iPod here. What? Because I know I watched something else. I can't remember what it was.
Well, anyway, we're about to watch Shocker.
I'm trying to. I didn't watch Spiral yet. But it's on here.
So are you going to introduce our special guest, Stephen Hawking? I deleted it.
That's Siri on my iPod, you crackhead. Stephen Hawking.
Tell us about the brief history of time.
And he's Australian too, so how dare you?
No, he's British.
No, he's Australian. Don't tell me what my Siri is.
I was talking about Stephen Hawking.
I downloaded an Australian man because you know how they make me quiver.
Can you get it to say, "A dingo's got my baby"?
No. I don't think so. I don't think you can. Well, if I typed it,
Yes.
there used to be a thing where you would say, "I see a little silhouette of a man," and it would do the rest of the lyrics.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So, let me see. I see a shit. I don't know how to respond to that. I see a little silhouette of a man.
Scaramouche, weaving the fandango, thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galilei Figaro Magnifico. I'm just a poor assistant. Nobody loves me. It's just a poor assistant from a poor family. Spare it its life from this monstrosity. Easy come, easy go. Will you let me go? Bismillah. No, we will not let you go. Let it go, Bismillah. We will not let you go. Let it go, Bismillah. We will not let you go. Let me go.
All right, that's enough of that. That went on.
Now we're going to get torn off the air because of copyright infringement. Really.
Copyright infringement. That went on a little longer than I thought. I didn't even think it worked
I was just
anymore.
expecting the next line, let alone like the whole song.
Yeah, no. I did. I thought it was just the verse, but it went on a little longer.
Well, nothing really.
Yeah,
matters.
I didn't
Anyone
think
can
it
see.
Still worked. That was I found that like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
On they were talking about it on a satellite radio channel. But now it's kind of bugging me that I want to know what the hell that other movie was that I watched. But it doesn't matter because we were watching Shocker now. It is, what is the exact running time?
It's exact. Let's say it's 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 11 seconds.
It's
no, 1
Universal,
second.
so I don't know if you'll be able to find it on YouTube. But it's on DVD, and Scream Factory put it out on Blu-ray, so if you can find it, feel free to watch along. And we are going to begin with a 3 count. Is Tony ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. I always like this opening with him walking and dragging his foot.
Yeah.
And I like that was a characteristic that I mean, it doesn't really make sense when you think about it because it's his body and his leg that's fucked up. So why would it be fucked up if he jumped into another body? Nevertheless, I liked it.
Remind you of Nightmare on Elm Street intro when he was making the glove.
No, I never thought of that, but yeah, I could see that.
But in saying about the leg, I liked the device, although it kind of shit me off. I thought that the movie Fallen took a similar route.
It had like an identifiable...
yeah, was it? Oh, no, he had the whistle or something. He had the song. That's right. Where, if you ever saw Fallen with Denzel Washington.
No, but I'm familiar with it.
It's a similar concept that happens in this movie in the second half, where this demon jumps from body to body. And he has a characteristic song or whistle that he does when he jumps from a different body.
When he jumps into the little girl, Wes Craven really didn't do a very good job of explaining to her exactly how to do it, because she just, when you watch her trying to get away, she just drags her foot like it's dead. But all he really had was a limp.
Yeah. And there's Heather Langenkamp, I think.
Yeah. You see her again later when she gets thrown down the stairs.
Oh,
I don't. There's something sexy about Mitch Pileggi.
yes. I think that as well.
I like the shaven head. I like because he seems like
It's got like the crevices in the side. It's not like a bowling ball head.
I like the deep voice. I like the uber masculine thing he's got going on.
Real big dick energy. Is that what you're saying?
I like it. And Peter Berg here, in particular with this movie, there's something about him. I know he's not, and if he was, that's fine. I'm not judging him, but there's just something. I think it's something about the way he talks that he sounds like he's special needs.
Oh, okay.
I know exactly where
you're leading towards gay or something.
I knew that's where you thought I was going.
No, he does sort of sometimes sound like someone who can't talk and breathe through the nose. Which is what I despise about Eureka, just by the way.
He sounds like there's something wrong. And I don't think
it's almost like that Sylvester Stallone type of voice, where like it sounds like it's got something chewing in its cheek.
Oh, by the way, that's that was something that I was thinking about checking out. His softcore movie that they re-edited.
Sylvester Stallone's?
Yeah.
What movie was that?
I don't remember what it was originally called, but after he became famous, they re-edited it and called it the Italian Stallion. And it was a softcore movie from the 70s.
Okay.
Like right before he did Rocky. And you do see full frontal, but he's limp.
Yeah.
And he's not as like ripped up as like he is in Rocky.
That's Rocky, yeah.
But he looked good. His pubes need a little bit of trimming.
Oh, well,
but then again, it was the 70s
and the Italians.
Him.
I remember I traveled overseas and there was a Gravy Baby restaurant, and they kept showing Rocky snippets on loop.
Oh god.
Which was fine, but like I just found it funny. Now, is his girlfriend from anything special?
So stupid. It's stupid. I don't like it.
Did you?
But it's clearly expository, but it's trying to be cute at the same time, and it's just not working for me.
Yep.
Because he's acting like he's got amnesia, and she's telling him who she is.
Yeah, she's his developing the backup story.
And what I don't understand and what never made any sense to me is I think she said they were going together for like a year and they lived together, but they never had sex. What?
Have they not had sex yet?
That's what she says.
Oh.
And then there's a scene later when his father calls to tell him that the family was killed. They're sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah, but I'm getting ahead of myself here.
I think it was because after she gets killed, she comes back as like a very angelic, ghostly figure. So I think that like Wes Craven wanted to keep her virginal because of that,
okay.
but it didn't work. It didn't make
Yeah,
any
it
sense.
just
I mean,
made other things
it was
not click.
It made it unrealistic, and I mean, just because she had sex with somebody she cares about doesn't mean that she couldn't come. That made her a bad person. That
Yeah, she wasn't
couldn't
going to go
come
to
back as
hell.
an angel. Yeah, it was stupid. I mean, like there's this is definitely not a perfect movie. There's a lot of things wrong with it.
I enjoy Wes Craven when he writes, but he's an imperfect writer. There is some things that could be improved upon, but I do find something special in the stuff that he writes. Oh, he's got a real like nice tan. Got a good skin color.
And here we have another movie that is set in around nightmares, and
Looks like she's wearing a vest to bed.
yeah, she looks like fully dressed.
Yeah.
But the Horace Pinker character is clearly supposed to be the next Freddy.
Yeah.
Or he was trying to make another Freddy.
Yeah.
He was trying to make they were trying to make a franchise out of this.
Well,
the
had it
writing
done
is
better, they were looking at doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that it happens a lot where they try to make a franchise, but the original doesn't do so well, so it gets shelved, like with Bad Dreams.
Like with which one? Sorry.
With Bad Dreams.
Oh yeah, you were saying they were considering having a second one along in that.
Well,
one, yeah.
Richard Lynch signed on for like 5 movies.
Yeah.
It was in his contract. But I mean, I don't know. I think that this came about because this is just me speculating. This came about because Wes Craven really wasn't very happy with the way the Elm Street franchise had developed.
Yeah.
And like, you know, he submitted a script for part 3 that was ultimately rejected. They used bits and pieces of it, but Frank Darabont and I think it was Chuck Russell
found it far too dark.
Yeah, it was too dark. That's right.
Yeah.
And they rewrote it, but they kept some of his ideas. But yeah, he really didn't. He wasn't shy about, you know, saying that he didn't like the other movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, he seemed kind of bitter. And so I think that this was his way, not necessarily to get back at New Line, but to kind of start over with a new villain and maybe take things in the direction that he wanted to. But I thought that this new villain was way too similar to Freddy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can differentiate villains, because I feel that you either have the silent type or you have the ones that speak. I mean, because I was listening, I feel like there hasn't really been too much of a new villain franchise. It seems like the more recent franchises have been based on the victims or the survivors, sorry. Say, for instance, even in Scream, there's no consistent villain. It's just a ghost face mask.
Well, there was Saw for a while.
Oh, yeah, but even that sort of changed hands by way of who the killer was.
Yeah, and he did die.
The only recent that I could really think of that was typical of the villain was the Jeepers Creepers
Oh, but the first one was like 2001, so we're talking 20 years, so that's not that recent.
Yeah.
But the franchises primarily reflect, or those well, I mean, unless you're talking about like Annabelle or something.
Sorry, I haven't actually seen it to be able to comment on Annabelle, but
the first one was fine. It was fine. I didn't think it was anything spectacular.
Yeah.
Nothing I cared to see again. I didn't like the second one. The second one I thought was so fucking boring. I heard the third one. It was like the third one was unanimously panned. So it's like I'm not even gonna bother.
Yeah.
But with the franchises that are out these days, they generally are centered around some kind of supernatural. Not necessarily a being, but more like a force.
Yeah. Like the paranormal activities.
Yeah, like Insidious and all that kind of stuff. So, and like even the what was that other one? Conjuring.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, you really there really hasn't been a horror icon for a very long time.
The word, well done. There's been no, to me, horror icon for a long time, yeah. Just to repeat the exact thing you said.
Yeah. And the ones that were popular, you know, it was overkill.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, I would rather, as opposed to seeing a remake of, Halloween or Freddy or Jason, I'd rather, like, see an attempt at creating something new. And if it fails, then that's why I don't mind this movie that it failed. It's like, I don't mind seeing someone trying something different and it fails. At least you made the effort.
Well, the issue is with this and with Bad Dreams, for example, if we're talking about those which failed, they're really not that different from those which were successful. And I think that is ultimately their downfall.
Well, it's hard to predict audiences, really.
Yeah. Especially horror audiences.
Well, so, like an article I read ages ago is by a horror fan. It was a bit of condemnation and saying how so many horror fans loved Scream, but then the same ones booed the screen when they saw the preview for the sequel. It's sort of like there are some horror fans that like to only have the one and feel like they're part of a club that only we know this movie and we can appreciate it, but as soon as it's popular, then that's shit.
I can understand where the writer was coming from. I was never in that group. I grew up on, you know, the Fridays and the Elm Streets and Halloween, so I always looked forward to the sequels. And if there was a movie that I really liked, I didn't see anything wrong with the continuation of it.
Yeah, that's the same with me. You would never hear me say I liked it before it was cool, because I if I like something, then I want other people to experience it as well and enjoy it.
At the same time, though, having sequels, if the original is particularly strong, having sequels can tarnish the original. Like, I think Saw was a prime example of that. And for Saw 2, I was excited for that. And then
See,
we
I-
get into Saw 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
8, 9. It's like, oh, okay.
I could
this is
handle Saw up to 3, and then after that, I stopped liking it, and eventually just stopped watching it. It got to a point where I felt it had said enough, and that was just repeating and making an effort to be different and clever. Like it wasn't. It shouldn't be a
Yeah.
chore to make it good, and it wasn't even good. You know.
No. And yeah, I mean, even though the first one I think is very well done, there are certain things about it that I don't like and I don't think make sense. But the rest of it, I think, is well written enough to make it a strong film.
Yeah.
But the sequel is just like I really don't like what you're doing here.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want you to stop it. And I think I might have been confused. I might have missed it, but I think we saw Heather Langenkamp get thrown down the stairs.
Oh, I didn't notice that at all.
Or maybe we didn't. I think
Because
it's
why would she still be here?
no. It's because it's when what's his name, Jonathan. He has a premonition of where Horace Pinker's murder is, or next murder is taking place, and he goes to try to save the mother, who is played by Heather Langenkamp, and she's at the top of the stairs, and he says something like, "Here, catch this," or something, and he throws her down the stairs at him.
Oh, okay. Now, I was going to say, because I was just thinking how you were talking about the limp, and I thought maybe because Jonathan had inflicted it on him as a child, that it was sort of like being it plays around with the, angels and spirituality, that because it was that type of injury that it lasted through the lifetimes.
This is some really bad overacting right here. He was really chewing up the scenery.
Even the dead guy was chewing up the scenery.
Good morning, Maryville. Although the sun has finally come out today.
One thing that when I was looking at the Wikipedia for this, one thing that the critics who didn't like it had a problem with was the fact that there really weren't any or many rules centered around the Horace Pinker character as far as how to defeat him or what he could or couldn't do. He just did whatever.
Well, I guess it was almost like a prequel and the movie in one. Say, for instance, like with The Nightmare on Elm Street, it just started with Freddy invading dreams, whereas this one eventually gets to Horace invading electricity.
Yeah. Another part that I really couldn't stand, I thought was so stupid, was when he gets the power from the TV, and you see the animated. He says, "Give it to me."
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And it says, "You got it, baby." I was
Well,
like, really?
yeah. I thought, even though I have no idea, I actually thought it was like maybe an MTV reference or something. I had some sort of trust that it was a pop culture reference that I just didn't get.
It might have been, or just might have been a product of Wes Craven's weak sense of humor, and how he would have gotten
his sense of humor.
How he would have gotten all those candles and demonic
in prison,
paraphernalia into the cell. I have no idea.
Maybe he worked in the prison yard where they did the candles.
Perhaps.
He's She's never seen him, Allison.
So Peter Berg went on to direct a lot of really big movies.
Well, he directed one that I was, for a long time, found very uncomfortable. I liked it, but it's a black comedy called Very Bad Things.
Ugh.
That I was...
I was going to
didn't
bring
mind
that up, but it's so bad. It's so fucking bad.
I had a phase of really liking black comedies, and especially ones with Cameron Diaz.
I love dark comedies, but that was not a good movie.
Yeah.
It was just not. And you would think it would be with all of the talent involved. I mean, you had Cameron Diaz, you had Christian
Well,
Slater,
it did
you had
seem
Jon
like a big
Favreau,
failure
and-
at the box office and with critics. It wasn't... I mean, actually, insane. I remember it getting like 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't as a maximum. But the minimum might have been like 2 out of 5. Well, he went and did Hancock as well, which I never saw, but that was the only one that I really recognized. There were other ones that I knew, and I think he did one about a bombing in Boston, maybe.
He did that one with Lone Survivor. Wasn't that with Mark Wahlberg?
Oh, yeah.
That was a big, and I think he did like Patriots Day too.
Yeah.
That was a big movie. John Tesh. Whatever happened to him?
Well,
Are you
he was the
familiar
ET
with
news
John
presenter.
Tesh? Yeah.
He had the big chin, didn't he?
Well, you can see. I don't remember him having a big chin.
Well, you saw his face earlier. He was doing the news earlier in the movie. But we used to have like a Saturday Night Live show, and they used to make fun of him by having a big chin.
I hate to see what they did with Jay Leno.
Well, he wasn't very popular here in yeah.
Oh, you're so lucky.
We had more David Letterman. Was the only late show that we really had.
He's...
well, we've got Jay Leno and Conan now, but that's because we've got pay TV, like for a long time ago.
You have Jay Leno now?
Yeah, because back when we just had free to wear, and this was like 30 years ago, the only late show from America we had, I reckon, was David Letterman. And it was once we got satellite TV that we could see a bit of like Conan and Jay Leno.
But Jay Leno isn't on TV anymore.
No, I know. I'm saying
So what are you
we had him on
talking about?
maybe like 20 years ago.
I couldn't stand him. I could not fucking stand him.
You guys seen Allison?
I always thought that his big thing was trying to make people look stupid.
Oh, with Jaywalking.
Well, not only with that, but with the guests too.
Oh, okay.
Like he would like make you look like an asshole. I mean, not that I'm a fan, but he was really nasty to Kathy Griffin when she was on.
Oh, okay.
She had I remember she had she met Carmen Electra on at some kind of event or something, and
Neat
she
writing
had
for
the,
blood. Anyway.
she had the she had a picture taken, and it was like just of their heads. I guess the rest of the picture got kind of, I don't know, because they blew it up to like 8x10 size or something.
Yeah.
They showed it to the audience, and Kathy was on the left and Carmen Electra was on the right, and Jay said, "Oh, it looks like a before and after picture."
Well,
That was nasty.
it's a bit vicious. I'm sure Kathy took it in good humor.
No, she didn't. She cried because it was that was when she was doing her reality show.
My Life on the D List.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's another Locket reference.
I can't help but think of Titanic when it gets thrown in the lake because it becomes the heart of the ocean.
Yes.
Pretty
the heart
much.
of the pond.
The heart of the pond.
What movies? Because he's an actor. Like, obviously, he's an actor. Is there any movies that I would recognize him in?
Peter Berg?
Yeah.
Not that I could think of off the top of my head. But yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. I know I've seen him in other movies, but I can't think of any.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Listening to his voice before, I realized it was more the type of voice where I feel like he has to spit all the time, like he's got too much fluid in his mouth.
I don't know. He just sounds like he rode the short bus to school.
I think you're tripping, but I know what to do. Fasten your seatbelt.
I was looking at the Wikipedia page, and did you just burp on my?
No, I was imitating "Fasten Your Seatbelt," like I was just mumbling to myself. I would never burp on the air.
Mm-hmm. But
Piss,
they had
yes.
to do. They had to. Mm-hmm.
Inhale the whole room of oxygen with like my laughter.
I think this.
Oh,
is
is here the
here?
Heather Langenkamp scene?
How you doing, Horace?
That's not Heather.
Go. Come take me on. You wanna play, you little pissant?
Her, right there.
That wasn't her. I'm quite sure she was the corpse at the very beginning of the movie, because I reckon even we'll check tonight. We'll check later. Is that I reckon the credits are in order of appearance.
Got it, asshole.
See, this is very Nightmare on Elm Street elements here,
Mm-hmm.
like blatant.
Did it perfect right now.
I'm pretty sure that was her.
Madeleine and Wagner. Madeleine and Wagner.
Did he throw her down the stairs?
No.
Well, then that wasn't her. But I think I think this is the scene though where they catch him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
no. Don't they follow him back to his lair where all the TVs are, or something? And
Well,
like
haven't
he's
they've been to his lair. Anyway, we'll see it when I get to it.
But I recall there's a scene where, or maybe it did happen, right? Where the police are outside.
And he dresses up like a policeman and strangles someone.
Maybe, but I remember him killing some of the police who were outside.
Yeah, that happened.
Oh.
Get these two guys here! Back it up, boys. Move it!
See, I'm going right in close to see.
I'll blow your head off. Go ahead. Take your best shots. You won't mind. Ah, so you had to
Uh,
Hey, boys hungry down there? Ah, you hungry?
yeah, that's her.
I'll bet
Yes,
a
it
month
was
of
her.
drinking that it's not her.
Oh my god. Well, that would be an easy bet for me. But yeah, they said too on Wikipedia that this had to be resubmitted to the MPAA several times for an R rating, and
Well, I wonder if that because around what time was the the LA killer
which one?
Ramirez, the Night Stalker?
Oh, the Night Stalker.
Yeah,
the 70s,
Oh, I thought he was the 80s.
maybe.
See, I always thought like that MPAA ratings kind of were influenced by the stuff that was going on at the time.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of it is politics.
Yeah.
And it's also the studio and what kind of movie it is. What are you laughing about?
It's getting his nose into a not an air conditioning duct, but one of those whirly birds.
I just love that VOD and Netflix and people distributing their movies on much smaller scales, and the way that the movie industry has changed so drastically has taken away a lot of the power of the MPAA, and they can't really censor people as much as they did, because ratings really aren't mandatory anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was that porno movie on Netflix. That was sort of like it was a European version of, let's say, 50 Shades. That got like heaps of people watching it. But had it been released at the cinema, it would have had an NC-17 and hardly gotten seen by anyone.
What was there, like penetration?
I didn't watch it. I think it's called 365 Days or something like that. But I never got around to watching it just because I just never did. Like, I mean, they've got the movie, we've got Stan, which is a streaming service, and they've got Romance on that, which has got full-on penetration.
Romance. Never heard
Yeah,
of
it's
that
a
one.
French movie
Oh.
about this illiterate school teacher who starts banging everyone in sight.
Oh. Well, what's romantic about that?
But I remember, the sequence, the one scene had the sequence called the Stallion, I reckon, and it was lived up to its name.
Uh-huh.
I've been meaning to ask, because you don't mind French cinema, if you ever saw the movie Climax by Gaspar.
No. I wanted to, but from what I heard, because it came out when my eyes were really starting to get bad, and from what a friend of mine told me about it who really liked it, a lot of it is so visual.
Yeah, it's a lot of dancing, yes.
Yeah, and it's a lot of trick of the lens type thing, a lot of colors, and I wouldn't have been able to follow
Enjoy
it.
it on that level, yeah. It's got a full
But
house at the execution.
That's the director of Irreversible,
Yes.
right?
I actually, a cinema here was playing his other movie, Enter the Void, I think it's called. And I wanted to watch it, but then we had a lockdown happen, so I couldn't get around to it.
Irreversible is on Tubi. Can you watch it?
I don't think it's on Tubi unless, because I checked.
No, it definitely is.
No, I checked Tubi horror, the category, and it doesn't show it. But I'll give it.
I don't think it's under
cult.
horror. I think it's under cult classics.
Oh, really? I have no feeling to watch again. I've seen it once or twice, I think. But it's not really a movie I care to watch again. It's unenjoyable, but I have a respect for the movie.
Alas.
Has much more weight when a priest says it.
Yeah. I remember.
This is almost like the comedic cops from Last House on the Left, the original.
No, I don't like what happens here. What the
finger licking good.
Well, this is one of the things that had to get cut out because he supposedly in the original cuts of the movie spat the fingers back out at them, and biting them off was okay, but spitting them out is not. I don't understand that.
Whereas I thought the lip bite was more graphic than anything.
I know. It
was very like Kill Bill.
Speaking of Jeepers Creepers, it's kind of like that scene when the creeper he bites the tongue out of the severed head.
Yeah,
that was kind of gross.
It's kind of I don't know if it was played for sexy, just like because I watched it recently. I was thinking it almost seemed a bit like he was doing it sexually.
You come to look dead in the face, huh, schoolboy?
Maybe.
Well, the director was into a few weird things.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Is the doctor a famous actress? You know, I meant to say, like, just before we hit record, my notes like blew away. They like slipped off the chair that I've got to prop up on.
Oh dear. The nurse, I don't remember. Wait, I have my notes. Right? I don't know. I didn't.
As warden of this facility, I'm directed
I didn't. Hold on. Let me see.
In most cases, this is a duty that I'd rather not be mine. However, today I feel just.
See, I wonder if Wes Craven wrote this as a negative to the death penalty.
Prisoner, have any final words?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do.
Your pitiful little memories wiped it all out, hasn't it? I used to beat you good, boy. I was beating you good when your mama tried to stop me with a gun.
You shut your mouth!
Witness, now sit down.
This is gonna. I don't know. I just always thought there was something sexy in that scene there, because you can see the veins in his head and
with the stubble.
Yeah, I like it.
I remember the first time I got pash rash. I was still living at home with my parents, and I had to blame it on. I told them that I ate a meat pie with a really hot center because it left a mark on my face.
I remember they had that. They did that on 6 Feet Under.
Pash rash.
See that up. They didn't call it that, but I don't know. There might have been, because it just seemed like something that was really unnecessary. I don't know, but maybe Michael C. Hall really did have a rash of some kind on his face. But he went to the funeral home because they had an intake, and his brother said, "Why are you all red?" And he was like, whatever the husband's name was. He was like, "We were messing around," and he hadn't shaved. And when they were talking to the people about the funeral, he like had a paper over his face and his mouth the majority of the time because he was all embarrassed. And as I think the mother like lowers her head to start crying, the daughter whispers to him, "I could give you the number of a great dermatologist." That's a very Freddy laugh right there.
Sorry, I was just drifting off. I was thinking of Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh, you like him too, dude.
Oh, terribly. And he's got that deep voice, especially in Sin City. Oh,
I think he was a firefighter at the time. He got the part in what was it called?
The Green Mile.
Movie Green Mile. Yeah.
Something. I reckon he was married to Omarosa.
Was he? Oh
I
God, poor
reckon
guy.
it was something like interesting, or she's married to someone interesting.
She seems like a real nightmare.
Well, I'd only ever seen her in reality TV, and in her like week and a half in the White House.
God, that's not place. I think what I like about this movie is primarily the Horace Pinker character and the way Mitch Pileggi plays him. But there are a lot of things that are really just like beyond silly, and like the remote control toward the end where he's freezing him and shit, and them beating each other up and going through different shows on TV. That
was my favorite part of it when I was young and I saw it.
It turns into like full-on slapstick, and that was like one of the things that Wes Craven didn't like about the Elm Street sequels was the way they became comic. Yeah. And then you got this, and it's like, and I always thought that since the first episode of the A Nightmare on Elm Street TV series was called No More Mr. Nice Guy, that he like chose that as the tagline for this, or the line, or the famous line in the movie is like a fuck you to them.
Yeah. So
I remember when I first saw this, I have spoken at length about the mom and pop video store I used to go to all the time. But when I was younger, I really made a nuisance of myself, and I was like 8 to 9, 10, and what?
No, I'm listening to and also watching. You were 8, 9, or 10, and
Yeah, and I literally would stay in there like all day.
Oh,
And I would go behind the counter and everything.
oh, really?
And yeah,
Were
and
the videos in the covers, or were they in like a filing cabinets behind the counter?
they had two back rooms. One on the right and one on the left. The left one was smaller, but they were all shelves, and the tapes weren't in clamshell boxes. They would put them in a box when you rented it, but they were just. I think they just left them all lined out of the cases for room. But as the years went on, they just stopped caring about a lot of different things. And I think I told you or James that, you know, they were renting out screeners and making illegal duplicates.
Oh, really?
What do you call it? Original releasing. They were just like buying one copy and making duplicates of illegally. But when I would go there, sometimes they would give me free rent. Like the girls who worked there, they would give me free rentals, and I know they were giving them to me just so I would go home. But other times,
you were a miniature Karen back then. No.
I was, but other times to, I guess, to like keep me occupied. Because they were essentially babysitting me. Yeah. They would put movies on for me.
Oh, that's sweet.
Keep me quiet. Yeah. And I was demanding too about shit that I wanted to watch. And I asked to watch this, and they put this on for me.
I could imagine you like if you ever saw Muriel's Wedding, how she kept playing the same show over and over again.
Did you just say if you ever saw Muriel's Wedding? You know damn well I've seen Muriel's Wedding. No, they didn't have a setup like that where the TVs were mounted. The TV was behind the counter.
Oh, okay. Oh no, but Muriel used to play like the
Princess
Diana's wedding all the time.
Yeah.
I thought she looked very much like Nicole Kidman here, by the way.
Yeah, I could see that from what I remember. And we were talking about how cute the guy was who came in and picked her up when she worked at the video shop. Has he been in anything else?
Who?
The guy who asked her out on a date.
Oh, yes. A few Australian things. I cannot remember what though, but he's known around here. He's a familiar face.
Is he still cute?
I don't remember. Oh, and here's your waterbed.
Yeah. Well, that's James's thing. I think.
Just to carry on from the other podcast we did.
Yes, but nobody knows what we're talking about. They getting back to the video store, they were very careful about the kind of things that they would put on for me too. Yeah. Like they would not show me anything. Violence was okay. They didn't have any issue with me watching this.
Yeah.
But anything with any kind of sexual content, nudity or whatever whatsoever, was frowned upon. I remember
well, I think I'd even find it awkward walking into a video shop and hearing,
Well, generally I wouldn't ask them to put on erotic thrillers. I always used to put on horror movies, but
gladiator movies.
Mm-hmm. But there, I think it was the choice of the girl who worked there, but I think she really, because I don't think I would have requested to watch it, but she really wanted to watch Pump Up the Volume.
Oh, with the Vanilla Ice? Oh no, Christian Slater.
No, Christian Slater.
Yes.
And I remember in the very beginning of the movie, during the opening titles, when the camera pans through all the stuff in his room, and he has like a little like dick puppet thing toy with legs that you twisted it jumped around.
Yeah, like the mouth with teeth type of thing.
Yeah. And as soon as that thing came on screen, I remember her putting her hand over my eyes, and I got really mad. Because I saw it for a second, but I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like a chick. I remember thinking it was a chick.
Yeah. Like a girl or like the bird?
No, like a little bird.
Oh,
I thought it was a little yellow chick. That's what it looked like in the second that I saw it. I wouldn't use the word chick to describe a woman. Tony.
Chiclet.
Yeah, but
it was a very outy peak hole. Jesus. This must be grey sweatpants season.
Oh god.
I like it when they use the full name for some reason.
I don't like people who are named Jonathan and insist on being called Jonathan.
Oh, really?
I just want to smack them in the face.
Yeah.
It's like, what, you're too good for John? I met
You're like
a guy.
the Hills Have Eyes line.
What,
you're too good for, dog? If you ever saw the movie. No, I had an ex, hopefully he doesn't hear this, but his name was not Benjamin, but his name was Ben James. It's like, what? Like, so on the birth certificate, it wasn't Benjamin at all, and it was like, it's basically the same name.
And he wanted to be called Ben James. He wouldn't.
No, he wanted to just be called Ben, but like, I sort of asked if his name was Benjamin. So no, it's just Ben. Like,
the guy who plays Pastore, he played a cop too in Friday the 13th Part 6.
oh, okay. See, I think Part 6 is actually, because you've spoken of Friday the 13th, and I think Part 6 is one of the few that I kind of don't like.
Oh my god, I love Part 6. You said you love dark humor. And that's one of the main reasons I like it so much.
No, I mean, I'll give it another. But I say don't like loosely. I don't like how he's brought back. And I don't like when someone is brought back just very lacklustery.
Well, it was supposed to be a reference to Frankenstein.
Well, I'm like, if you ever read Misery,
Of course I have.
Annie Wilkes gets really angry about how they cheated in the chapter plays. Where like
That's Wes Craven's son right there.
Oh, really?
The jogger. Go ahead. Yeah, the chapter plays. Yes.
No, like let's say for instance the hero falls off a cliff and like that's how it ends. And then the next week they show, oh no, the killer, God, I keep saying killer. The hero jumped out of the way just before he fell off or something. And Annie Wilkes goes, that's not how it happened. It's just a cheap way of bringing someone back.
Well, they could have, by the way she described it, they could have gotten over with that by just shooting the scene from a different angle and then showing you another angle when it, like, you know, you see the car from the right side going over the cliff, and then you see the car on the left side and him climbing out of it.
Sorry, mister.
It's all right, sweetie. You just banged my funny bone. You gotta try being a little more careful with that thing.
I will.
How the fuck do you just run right into somebody with that tricycle?
With training wheels.
It's she got training wheels? I thought it was a tricycle.
No.
Excuse me, sir.
The park is where you're actually supposed to go to learn how to ride on two wheels. Not supposed to be riding with training wheels. That's
See,
because
most of our parks are just beats.
Yeah, the park where I learned to ride on two wheels.
I love how she spits.
I know. I don't like spitting. I don't like it.
No, it was a good show that she's changed.
I don't know how to spit. I mean, like I
Is that
can
part
like
of your grinder profile?
I don't know how to.
And that line as well.
I don't know how to spit. Like, I mean, like I could like cough something up and like or like spit something out, but like I don't know how to do like a good.
Yep. There was a time when I was 8, let's say, I forgot how to swallow. I just kept spitting. And then my mum once told me off because she was walking in front of me and she's like, just spit on me. Because I just... And I had to really force myself to remember how to swallow.
Yeah, it came in handy later in life. Oh.
See, in what you were saying,
I like
I
that
actually
part.
quite liked when Wes Craven started developing his humor. One of my favorites of his was The Hills Have Eyes. Not the fucking hell. The People Under the Stairs. And I feel had it not for him developing a bit of a dark humor and developing it well, I don't think that movie could have been made. It was a very social commentary black comedy with horror elements to it.
Get out of her, Pinker. Get out of her, you bastard!
Oh. One thing I always remember, I haven't seen that movie in forever. One thing I always remember, this is really bad. A really bad.
Well, it was of the
fact I
time.
remember.
89.
But one thing I always remember about People on the Stairs is because she did the daughter would feed them, and the mother came to get the plate, and one of them still had the fork.
Yes.
And I like the way his hand pops out and he gets it back to her.
Yeah.
I have that vision stuck in my head of his
Where's
hand
your
handing her the
fork?
fork.
Eat your heart out.
If
There
only
did
he
seem
would.
to be a few actors where they just got them off the street and like, would you like to be in a movie?
Yeah.
How do you like this body, Jonathan?
If he cut that hair, maybe. He has really nice arms. I remember that.
It's got really gappy teeth, but not that that's a
yeah.
deal breaker.
Yeah, no, I could deal with that.
Are you saying that Pinker is alive somehow? And he just jumped
My
in?
ex had a pretty significant gap.
Sounds crazy, but that's exactly what he's
My ex's ex went to the dentist to get a gap.
All I do know is that
What?
He wanted a gap between his two front teeth.
Okay, that's weird.
Well,
It's interesting though how having a space between your teeth, it really can change your whole appearance.
yeah.
Until he's used up the life of the body he's in. I mean, we can't go killing people just to get Pinker out, you know. But there is something we can use to get him out before he kills the body.
Yeah, what is it? I mean, I'll get you 10 of them.
There's only one of them. It's in the bottom of the lake.
The bottom of the lake.
I know pretty much.
We'll go to
where
the
it is.
scuba diving
You can
department.
find it.
There's no way in hell that anybody would fucking find that thing.
Need you to go and get it.
Well, maybe they could
Well-
because it was on that pic.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I remember once there's a swing bridge in the suburbs here, and me and my friend went, and my friend's keys dropped into the river.
Oh.
And I went into it to try to get them because it was my idea to go, and I felt bad.
You guys be careful.
And then further from that, when my friend came down the hill, he fell over and dislocated his shoulder. So,
Oh my god.
ended up having to
You're a
take him to the
dangerous
emergency
person to be
room.
around.
I know. And like whenever I saw him falling, and my first thought was, why would you go down the hill that way? Like it's not. He's having an accident. It's that was a silly thing to do.
How old were you when this happened?
Oh God, 20.
Oh. So either you were stupid or you were evil.
He's out laughing it up with Pac-Man.
No, it's just what my goes straight to first.
He's an hour and
Evil.
15 minutes late, Rhino. An hour and 15. Does that sound like something?
Oh, this is totally random.
They're all over my place.
But
Enough people running from past stories.
we were talking about
Gonna start killing
Melanie
people if I
Linsky
don't stop.
on another commentary,
I gotta get that.
Mhm.
Rhino. I just gotta get
how the heavenly creatures and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Um,
On our first
um,
commentary.
was it?
Yeah, it was for the loved
Can't
ones.
see a thing in here, Rhino, without a
Oh.
mask. No one can.
Well, anyway, I was when I was watching The Frighteners. You know, that's Peter Jackson,
Yes.
and one of the main characters was named Dr. Linsky.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think that was coincidence,
Hmm.
because that would have been the first thing that he did after Heavenly Creatures.
Yes. Yes. And it had your friend from Reanimator in it?
Uh-huh. Jeffrey Combs
Yes.
and his bad nose job.
Yes.
But that's a movie that I would like to do a commentary for. Heavenly Creatures, that is.
Yeah.
And I found a uncut version on Amazon. It was a Blu-ray DVD combo, but it was
Okay.
like $145,
Yep, yeah.
of course. And I think it was an import. I don't think it ever got an official. It got a DVD, but that was $50.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it got an official Blu-ray, which is unusual because I know it does have a cult following.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's almost like what Peter Jackson is known for now there are probably some fans who wouldn't realize his older work.
No. I don't think Meet the Feebles was ever released here.
Okay. It was released on VHS here, but and it might have been on DVD, but I don't think I got it on DVD.
It's on Tubi.
Oh, okay.
I did save it, but I didn't watch it. Here there is there was supposed to be a scene where the coach stabs himself through the hand. And they had to cut that out.
Yeah.
To get an R. Which was what Dean Cameron did in Bad Dreams. And they got an R.
Yes.
See, I told you, it's all politics.
Mm.
With the MPAA. I never understood why he was in the shower. Why was that?
Well, that is something that always annoys me in many horror movies. Is I kind of would wish. I don't like it when you have a victim who needs to get shocked and look around and then get killed. I wish there was every now and then where someone would just get killed without needing to look around and get like. It just... Then it's like they have to see the killer and then, like, react, and then they get to die.
Well, you see... Well, I think they had something like that in this, when somebody gets... Well, I think that's how the girlfriend gets killed. She doesn't know it's coming.
Well, she has a bit of a reaction, I'm sure.
Well, you can't have no reaction. You can't just like die violently. Like, what are you saying? I don't understand what you're saying. Do you want to see somebody just get shot in the face and not know and not have a react and just die immediately? I don't understand. Tell me.
Well, let's say now you're sitting at the computer screen.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And there's a killer that walks in behind you. And we can see it because there's a third-party cameraman. Now, in a typical horror movie, you'll finish what you're doing, turn around, go, and then the killer will stab you. Whereas what I'm saying is that, why would the killer not just stab you now as you're watching the movie?
First of all, I think there's something wrong with you.
I'm not fantasizing or anything about you getting stabbed in the back of the head.
No, no, I think there's something wrong with you because you think that is not done.
Oh, okay.
I have seen that many times. That happens all the time in horror movies. But I think you need to watch more horror movies, is what I think.
Get out of my way.
Oh. That wasn't nice. I don't like her angel voice. Go back down where you belong.
It's a very Wes Craven thing. I do wonder, because I was sort of reading into, there was like fan fiction about A Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. That got quite exhausted, like it went quite far, and it makes large mention of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, where Nancy dies and Kristen says, "I'll like send you to a happy place" or something like that.
I'll dream you into a beautiful dream forever. And
yes, ever. Yeah, and so there's a whole sequence. There's a whole like back catalogue of life where Nancy is like an angel in a beautiful dream.
Oh God,
and. And it continues the story. I never read into it. I just thought it was an interesting thing to do. But it makes me think of the girlfriend character here sort of being the angel that dies. And then continues on to be a part of the story in a different element.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is a lesbian's wet dream.
Uh-huh. There have been a lot of A Nightmare on Elm Street spin-off books that I wish were, and Friday the 13th.
Well, Peter Jackson was going to do A Nightmare 6. Yeah, Nightmare
Well, he
6.
submitted a script, I think, and it was rejected. No, I mean like novels
Oh, okay, yep.
that are outside of the cinema Freddyverse and just are their own entity.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. There's like full length novels, and there's like short story collections, and same thing with Friday the 13th and
Virginia Andrews.
That was random. But now I'm
And Michael Myers?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think so. Not that I know.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, but there's no audiobooks for any of them, which annoys me. But there's a YouTube channel called the 80s Slasher Librarian.
Yeah.
And it's just this guy sitting at a laptop reading the books. And the quality is shit. He's definitely no voice actor. But he has read like all of the Nightmare books, and they're like 9+ hours long.
Okay.
And all the novelizations, horror novelizations.
Yeah.
And I would really like to check them out, but I can't deal with the quality and his voice.
His delivery,
yeah. I mean, you have to be a professional to know how to do that.
Yeah,
and
it's
I know
not
it's
just a case of like Siri reading out pages.
Well, I use I don't do it so much anymore because it became too tedious. But when there were books that I couldn't find in audiobook format, I would scan them. I think I told you this. I would scan them, and then there's a program called Open Book, and you can convert it to an MP3, and it's a robotic voice, but there's no emotion, but at least you get to experience the book, which but when I was first toying with the idea of having my books done in audio format, I was considering doing it myself, by having because I could have it read by the screen reader in my ear and then repeat it. But and I tried to do that as a test just to see how it would turn out, and I was like, "Ugh, no, I'm not going to do that." As I learned in high school, I'm not an actor. And I would definitely want somebody who knows what they're doing to do it. I monopolized like 5 minutes straight there.
No, that's fine.
And I
time to sober up.
It's because I'm getting punchy, and I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Oh, it's got a limp.
This is going to turn into one of my insomniac commentaries, and you've heard, how I get.
Well, it's only like 1:30 a.m. that way.
But I've been going to bed early. Let me see.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see. It's 2.
Now, I don't like the music in this movie.
No, I don't either. What are you talking about?
Like the piano,
like I know. I was thinking the same thing, because it doesn't really sound like a score. It just sounds like somebody frenetically pounding on the keys.
Yeah. It's almost like effect music as opposed to.
They're cues, is what they are.
Something
That's
that I
what
liked.
they are. It's not a score.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like, that harp music that used to do for flashbacks. It's like that type of sample. It's nothing much.
Kind of.
No, I was watching Lethal Weapon 2 a few weeks ago, and I was impressed by how minimalist some of their music was, but how effective it was. Like, they had their regular saxophone score, but then they had, like, for the villains, like this, just this dong noise that, like, was made from, it reminded me of, like, when, like, a champagne glass falls over and it just, like, makes a dull noise.
Mm-hmm. This song sounds like it could be on the Sleepaway Camp 2 soundtrack.
I was just thinking that was very of its time.
It actually was very reminiscent of the song that played over the opening titles of Part 3.
Yeah. I feel like horror got a bit lost in it. It didn't know what to do with itself at one stage in the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah. I know. The slasher genre had kind of exhausted itself in the 80s, so there was a lot of body horror. There was a lot of science fiction / horror.
Okay.
And there were...
I feel that after Nightmare on Elm Street, there became sort of like a supernatural horror became a thing as well.
Yeah. The 90s was weird. A weird time for horror. Especially the early 90s. And plus, in addition to all the really bad straight-to-video stuff, and especially the straight-to-video, like, Children of the Corn sequels and shit.
That's right, yes.
There were a lot of companies that were doing shot-on-video stuff that was really bad.
Okay.
And then after Scream,
well, yeah. As much as you've been very vocal about how much you dislike Scream, I appreciate that it injected a different energy into the horror scene.
Yeah. Well, but what annoys me about that is everybody acts like Scream is the first horror movie to be like self-referential and meta and has characters who are familiar with these movies and know the rules. It was done before.
Yes,
It's not the first time.
Well, even Evil Laugh. Sorry. had a bit of reference to other horror tropes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even Sleepaway Camp 2, just the fact that she wore the different masks was... I know it's not meta. It's just, you know...
It was,
shows that
it
there's
was
a life outside of
self-referential.
horror. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like but there's a movie called There's Nothing Out There that has a character who is very much like the Randy character in Scream, in that he's seen endless amounts of horror movies and he knows all of the tropes, and he says, oh no, we can't go here because the killer will jump out of there and it'll pull us here.
Yeah.
So
And were you saying Final Exam as well?
Final Exam?
Or maybe... Oh, no, maybe I just read that in a review. Is that it? Some people really like Final Exam as sort of being a precursor to the Scream era.
No. I think you're confused. No, I was saying that Scream 2 was a ridiculously obvious ripoff of Final Exam. There are a lot of... If you look at... Watch Final Exam and then watch Scream 2 right after it. There's shit like taken right the fuck out of that movie.
Okay.
But Pinker did.
And the opening scene with Jada Pinkett and was it Mekhi Phifer? That whole thing was a ripoff of the opening in He Knows You're Alone.
Oh, okay.
To Jonathan Parker, scrawled on the wall, signing the name Horace Pinker. Police are further baffled because there were no signs of forced entry.
I don't know. It just annoys me that people give Kevin Williamson such high praise for being a ripoff artist. It's like, oh yeah, he's such a genius because he stole plot elements from all these other movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Coach didn't do it, you guys. Neither did Pac-Man.
And what people used to say too about Scream, they don't say it anymore for some reason. I don't know why or how the tide changed or what shifted. But for the longest time, Scream was called a parody. They don't say that anymore. But they say a lot.
One time I did, as in, I never heard it called a parody, but a satire. And that was by the Wayans brother who did Scary Movie. He said Scream was a satire, whereas this is a parody.
I don't know. I see Scream as a horror movie with intentional humor.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a satire.
No. Oh, okay.
But that's me. And yes,
maybe you've got Kevin Williamson anorexia.
Oh God, that's you just like pulled that moment out of my brain because I was thinking of Nev Campbell with the pint of ice cream, and I forgot what I was gonna say. I think I was gonna say something about my being so verbal about my distaste for Scream.
Sorry. Something that I like, a line that I think about unusually a lot is, I think it was Luc Besson. It was a French director. And they were sort of commenting on, it was in an interview talking about how, like some of his movies are quite pop and yada, yada, yada. But it was a line that I remember it was basically saying art without an audience is just navel gazing. So there is a necessariness to making your movie or art accessible. If you don't have an audience, then sort of it makes no difference. So as much as the movies outside of Scream were probably a lot better than Scream, Scream got people to watch it. But let's not talk about Scream because we're watching Shocker.
But yes and no. I mean, because
you want the
Scream-
final word on Scream.
No, but Scream got people to look at early 80s slashers. Yes, but there was also a totally different audience who didn't know what Scream was referencing and never would. They just, think that Scream was this groundbreaking fucking piece of cinematic brilliance. And I think those people are fucking idiots.
Well, it's unfortunate that they didn't take the opportunity to delve deeper into it. It's sort of like the Madonna, I'm going a bit off streaming. The Madonna album Ray of Light got me into Gabor Sabo. No, William Orbit sort of interpolated in the song Murgel, another song called Space by Gabor Sabo. And so what I'm saying is that Ray of Light got me into a whole different, a Hungarian folk musician from the 60s. Scream should have gotten some fans into 80s horror. If they delved in a bit deeper, they could appreciate other work because of it.
I think that Scream was too mainstream.
Okay. Although originally critics were saying it was going to flop and be a nothing movie.
Yeah, well, that's why they put it out at Christmas. And it made so much money in its initial run that I remember it got a second release in the spring of 97.
Really? Oh, but that's because your spring is different than ours.
Yeah, so it came out in, what was it? Like Christmas?
In December
It was like December 20th or something. It was right before Christmas. And then it got reissued in theaters in like April, May in 97. That's the first time that's ever happened in my lifetime.
That a film got re-released, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, the movie Jewel by Steven Spielberg was a TV movie and then got released on cinema.
That happened too with the movie Summer of Fear with Linda Blair from the 70s.
Was that a Wes Craven movie?
Yes, funnily enough. Yeah, that was very well received here, and then it was a theatrical release overseas.
Okay.
And they changed the title to, I think, Stranger in Our House or something.
Oh, okay.
I like that movie. I like that book, too.
Oh, no. I didn't realize it was a book. Was it did it have some rock metal band terrorizing people or something?
No.
Okay,
no.
fine.
It was about a witch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a book by Lois Duncan.
Okay.
Who also wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, okay, but not Kevin
book.
Williamson's version at all.
No.
A movie, going back to your mum and pop stock, the back catalogue. our local one, they used to have their videos, the actual VHSs in a back, like a huge filing cabinet. And so one time we picked out a movie and got given the wrong movie. But the wrong movie that we received was Deadly Friend by Wes Craven. And so that was like it was a funny, because like it was not what we were expecting, and then it was kind of enjoyable, if not a bit.
That was
strange.
based on a novel too.
Really? Not Mary Shelley's?
No, it was, the novel was just called Friend.
Oh, okay.
I forget the name. I forget the author.
And there was another Wes Craven movie I stumbled across, because I used to, on Channel 9, I'm just going to say Channel 9, they were showing the Wes Craven Nightmare on Elm Streets all through the week, but every night. And so I had recorded like one of them and just let the tape keep running. And the next movie along was called Night Visions, which was a Wes Craven TV movie that I quite liked, but the reviews are terrible for it. It's just about a woman who has like a psychic empathetic ability, and she starts to track down a serial killer, and she takes on some of the personalities of the victims that are going to come up. And
that sounds
it's got the wife from Fortress, I reckon.
That sounds very trite. I don't. What is Fortress? I don't know what that is.
It's a movie with Christopher Lambert, where he and his wife get sent to prison because it's at a time where, in the future, where you can only have one child, and the wife became pregnant. I reckon that was the idea of the movie.
That sounds terrible. Yeah. This all sounds terrible. And this movie is so long.
It does drag a bit. It has different sequences to it that, like, it's almost like 3 whole movies put together.
Not that I'm not enjoying our conversation, but this movie is so long. Why is this movie so long?
It's because you're drifting off to sleep. Well, at least it's the last sequence of the movie, so that's all right. Where he starts jumping from telly to telly. Oh, but the blue screen, it reminds me of the old black screen.
What blue screen?
Oh, there was like Peter Berg was sort of... I feel the lighting was a bit strange around him. And around
okay.
Mitch.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I definitely think this could have been shaved down to 90 minutes, and I don't think it would have affected the story, because a lot of the sequences, well, first of all, there are sequences that are redundant. It's they fucking have like, they try to get them like 3 different times.
Well, I almost feel like the girlfriend could have been removed from the story altogether.
Yes, I think so too. Get the fuck out of here with your goofy whisper bullshit. That girl couldn't act anyway.
That was like...
That's probably why Wes Craven made her whisper.
No, my sister, she loves Beverly Hills 90210. And she keeps mentioning that there's like a few seasons where Tori Spelling just whispers all of her lines.
Is that in the
trying
beginning?
to be dramatic. It's just all whispered.
I don't remember that. But I wasn't.
This is like
dedicated.
The Simpsons Halloween special with Itchy and Scratchy.
This is like a lot of things. Because it's not original.
Oh, I saw this movie the other day.
No word from our reporter at the home of Lieutenant Parker. However, incredibly, we have begun to receive
I know this is a hot take, but I do enjoy Tori Spelling. I like her in an ironic way. I don't like her because I think she's particularly talented. I just think she's enjoyable.
One of my favorite movies is one with her called The House of Yes, with her and Parker Posey.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it. Have you seen Trick?
No. Although a long time ago, I did see Co-ed Call Girl.
Okay, that's a totally different movie.
Well, I'm just same actress.
That was one of like 200 TV movies that she did in the 90s.
Yes.
Trick was a gay romantic
Yes.
comedy.
No, I've seen on
With Nev
on
Campbell's
gay Facebook.
brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Christian Campbell.
What's a very common last name?
No, but he is her brother.
You'll have to maybe like provide evidence for me.
He's her brother.
I'm joking. I believe you.
And plus, they were in a TV movie together for Lifetime where they played brother and sister.
This woman could have been played by Divine if it really wanted to be a camp ending.
Divine was already dead.
In '89, really? No. Oh, really?
Yes. Divine died right before Hairspray came out.
Oh, really? I remember the director of Freddy's Dead saying she wanted Divine to play the woman in the plane. That's why I get
yes, and he
confused
doesn't
about
know what the
age.
fuck he was talking about.
Oh, I thought it was a woman that directed it.
Freddy's Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Rachel Talalay directed it. She was a big producer at
Yes.
New Line, and she approached Robert Shea to direct it. But no, it wasn't her who said it. It was Sean Greenblatt who played the John Doe character.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know where the fuck he got that from, but Divine was dead before part 4 even came out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's where my confusion lies. Oh.
I can't believe they even put that in the documentary. It's nobody thought that was a little sus. And this was like, these were all New Line people.
Because wasn't Rachel, she
distributed-
was part of like the Dreamlander
Yes.
crew, you know.
Yeah, Robert Shea distributed a lot of John's
Yes. Yeah.
old movies.
Yeah, talk to me.
Yeah, New Line put out about half, a little more than half of John's movies.
Like from Multiple Maniacs, wasn't it?
No, Multiple Maniacs never, I don't think it ever really got an official release. But Criterion put it out on Blu-ray. It was the first time I think it ever got an official release. It was never on DVD.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny, there's an interview with him on there, and he said when he gave them the print to make the Blu-ray, they were like, do you want us to leave the scratches and everything in so it'll kind of look like it did when it was showing in theater? He was like, no! I want it to look better! Fix it!
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, but I can understand where they were coming from.
Yeah, but I can
I
understand
feel
where
like
he
they
was
could have
coming
done both.
from. Yeah, they could have.
just showed you what
You know what should have happened here? They should have kept Horace levitating in the air, and then Jonathan could have gone over and took his pants off a little.
Yeah, that could have happened. He blows his own dad.
I don't like to use the term daddy son porn because that just sounds too creepy. I prefer
You sound like Woody Allen.
There's a different term for it. It's like mixed generation.
Well, I think I see it more as a like uncle, because then it can be the unrelated uncle.
Yeah, I don't like that. Well, I'm there is one that I always think of where it's supposed to be the nephew and the uncle, and the nephew was like really flamey and had a really high voice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There was just one scene that, like, I was watching it and I was trying to ignore it. But then he said something that I was, all right, I can't. But he was blowing the uncle character, and midway he like stopped and looked up and he said, "Do I suck your dick better than my aunt does?"
Jesus.
And I was like, all right, it's over for me. That's a wrap. And scene. We're done here. I also like the older character playing the gym teacher or the coach. I like that.
Oh, yep. That's a category in itself, I think. Coach. Porn.
Do you ever see, it might be more of an American thing, but do you ever see the way certain gym teachers dress, where it's like a look with like not the swishy track pants, but like the heavier fabric.
Okay. Like
kind of like
the from Scary Movie.
I don't know, but kind of like the Adidas track pants that have the 3-line, like that kind of material. But no, I'm not finished. That look with a polo tucked in and a whistle. I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very sexy.
Well, our football uniform is quite different than your football uniforms, and the shorts are quite nice. They're like rugby shorts, but even tighter. So that was sort of not that we had like that was sort of our our physical ed teachers were short. Like Australians are quite we like our shorts. Sorry, I'm just drifting off watching. I recently bought some they're maroon rugby shorts because I wanted to dress up like Velma for Halloween, like but the like berry version. So I'm all prepared for that.
Wes Craven was in there somewhere.
Yes. Now I want to see the if it says order of appearance or not.
No, I was thinking that I never had. Wow.
So it says cast in order of appearance: Heather Langenkamp, victim.
Yeah, she's the first one.
Yes, she was the one on the ambulance.
Oh, that's a bunch of bullshit. Why would she be a dead body?
And Women at the Stairs was Linda Kay. Well, yeah, that's what I always thought. It was a bit of a waste of a cameo.
Now maybe I was gonna tell you a stupid story.
Yeah, you can tell me a stupid story. Oh
Um,
my lord.
No, I was thinking that I never had an attractive gym teacher. Um, the guys were older and like heavier, and then I had two women. But I remember when I was like in third or fourth grade, we had a gym teacher who I remember thinking he was cute, and he was a younger guy. He was like maybe in his 20s, early to mid 20s, and his name was Mr. John. John was his last name. I don't know why I still remember this, but his name was Robert John. And I thought he was cute, but it was funny because he really had no patience for little kids. And he wasn't. I've had teachers like that, and they were mean, and they would oftentimes be sarcastic, and but you could tell that he didn't like his job. He wasn't mean to us, but you could tell that he didn't like being around little kids.
Yeah.
And
well, better than ones that do like being around little kids.
Well, that's true. That's true. But it was just this is so stupid. But he put us in pairs to do some kind of exercise. I don't remember what it was, but it was like some kind of balancing thing that we were doing on the mats. And I remember him saying, and so, all right, if your partner falls, don't just stand there like an idiot and say, are you okay? Lean down and help him up. And so, of course, that became the joke for the whole thing. It was like every time somebody fell, we would just look at them and go, are you okay? And just burst into laughter and look at him, and he would just be rolling his eyes. Yeah, I told you it was a stupid story.
Oh, was that the story?
Yes, that was the story.
I had, he wasn't, we had one cute gym teacher at high school, and his last name was Wadsworth. So, thank goodness his first name wasn't Richard. But the one thing that sort of put me off, aside from the age difference, is you know when people smile, there's usually like it angles to the end. He had like a curved edge of his mouth. So if you can understand, like when the Simpsons smile, there's no like, it's just an arch at the end of the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of my story.
Oh, okay.
Well, he took us to camp, and we went surfing, and that was nice. But anyway.
And that's when you held your poopies for 3 days.
That was when I had my meth heart on. No, but I enjoyed the movie. It was good to watch it again. My bloody computer is not doing what I want. Oh, there we are. Okay.
I thought it was a bunch of bullshit.
The movie. Well, you are drifting off into the land of Nod. So from a lucid person, even though I've had a fair bit of ouzo, I thought it was a very good movie.
What is that?
It's like an aniseed liqueur. Like licorice.
Oh, ew. Ugh. I don't like anything that is flavored like black licorice. I don't like that. I don't like that. I remember my grandmother used to like that. Have you ever had pizzelles.
The what? Sorry.
They're called pizzelles.
No, I don't think so.
They're an Italian cookie.
Oh,
and
okay.
They're
Do they have
really-
like the actual aniseed seeds in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe
They're
I have,
really
yeah.
they're kind of big and they're really flat and they have like crisscrossing lines, like kind of like a waffle, but not as deep.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
haven't. But I hate it when something looks very tempting and then it's not.
Oh,
Like, have you ever
I
had
don't-
Chinotto?
no.
It's a soda and it smells delicious, but once you drink it, it's like I dislike it thoroughly. It's one of the few things that I dislike that's goes in the mouth. Because I'll
Oh.
usually eat anything.
Yeah, including vagina.
No,
No, never.
no.
Not
that I
even on
haven't.
weekends.
On the leap year.
On a leap year, okay. On a cheat day.
Yes. During Lent, I can have fish for Friday. Yeah.
Oh, thankfully, 83% of my listeners are male.
Have you gotten
So
over the
you-
50 mark?
50 listeners?
Oh, no. Oh, maybe I'm... Oh, no,
50
no, sorry.
plays?
I was thinking of someone else. Sorry.
50 episodes? What are you saying about?
No, my other half does sells Tupperware, and once you get over 50 clients, you can see properly like statistics of who's getting to see your videos and stuff like that.
Oh, yes. I told you that I have Croatian listeners.
Yes, you did. I hope
Yeah.
they're enjoying
And,
it. Dobro večer,
well-
sak što sluša od Hrvatska.
Oh. I don't think they're faithful, because if it's a country in the analytics that says like -1%, that generally, well, I interpret it as somebody who listened for a few seconds and then was like, this isn't for me.
Oh,
And
it's the wrong one. Yeah.
That Croatia, I think, might I think when I first noticed it, it was like 3%, and then it fell down into that -1%. So I did have some Croatian listeners at one point.
Yeah.
I have some listeners in Bora Bora.
Oh, really?
And some French. 5% of my listeners are Australian, and that's probably all you.
No, you're a dick. I make up 5% of Australia, yes.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine any other sexy Australian people listening to me.
Well, of course.
Does Matt listen to me? No.
No, well, I don't know. He doesn't listen to any podcasts, actually. I've been starting to listen. There was Dave's Video Graveyard is a local podcast that does B movies, but I couldn't really get into it.
I think James likes that one.
Oh, really?
I think. No, he likes Straight Chillin'.
Oh, okay.
I know somebody who likes. Oh, you know who liked Video Graveyard?
Who?
Somebody that I was telling you horror stories about
Oh, okay.
the other day.
Yes.
That's who liked Video Graveyard. I think I tried to listen to it, but I couldn't.
It was an
Couldn't get
Australian
into it.
show or a different?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd imagine you'd remember if it was Aussie, but it was. It is.
I
strange,
would
anyway.
remember, yes. There is actually there's actually one that is a horror review podcast, and they're two gay men, and one of them is Australian and he has a really nice accent, and the other one is American. But I tried to listen to them, but I think I was turned off because they really didn't like some movies that I hold dear.
Yeah.
They gave a scathing review to Red Christmas, and the Aussie should have been ashamed of himself.
Oh,
That
because
was
that's
an
the
Australian movie.
Australian one, wasn't it? Yeah.
He hated it.
Well, it's not like as if it was swept away or anything. Jeez. I say that knowing you love the movie. I'm just joking. I'm quite thankful you don't video record these because you get to see me like reacting in front of.
You wouldn't want to see me right now. I'm like haggard and falling out of my.
I could imagine you like the guy in Popcorn, like just ripping your face off in anger.
Yeah. I actually was listening to the commentary of that the other day.
Oh, okay.
Because I hadn't listened to it in a while. Since I first got the Blu-ray, and I put it on because I extracted the audio and I put it on my iPod. I have a bunch of commentaries on my iPod because I like to know all the stories. Stories about the making of. I like it though when it's it's either the actors or the director with one or two of the actors. I don't like it to be any more than 3 people. First of all, because it's 3 people. That's way too many.
Yeah.
3 people is fine. More than that, it's too crowded, and you don't know who the fuck is talking.
It becomes an orgy.
Yes, and generally those are fine. But time and place. But when it's a director, the ones I hate are like the ones with the director and the producer, because it's all technical shit, and I want to hear anecdotes about making the movie and like funny stories about who did what and who got fired.
One of the worst commentaries I experienced was a director, and I think it was the musician or someone like it was for Vanilla Sky. And I just found it to be such a narcissistic autofellatio session of talking about the movie and how good they were. But and then at one stage someone started playing the guitar, I reckon, and I was Jesus.
There is, I should send it to you, but there is this really, and I've probably talked about this on the show, so if there are any faithful listeners, please forgive me. But there is this terrible, terrible movie from the mid-90s called Jacko. And it was produced by Fred Olin Ray, who did a ton of B movies like Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and stuff. And he produced it, and it was directed by this guy in Florida who really didn't do a lot of stuff. But anyway, so it was him and it was Fred, and they were doing the commentary. Yeah. And it's a really, really bad movie. Let me just say that. And I don't think anybody who watched it was really taking it seriously. And I knew it was probably going to be stupid when I first saw it. The only reason why I checked it out was because Linnea Quigley was in it. And
Who, sorry?
but while they were doing the commentary, Fred was like trying to have fun with him, and he was making jokes about some things in the movie that worked and some things that didn't, and things that could have been done better. And the whole time, this director is not laughing at anything.
Yeah.
And he's taking himself very, very seriously. And whenever something didn't work, or Fred said something didn't work, he would say something like, well, if you gave us a little more money, or if you gave us a couple more days. And apparently they had an agreement before the commentary that Fred would not bring up a review that was posted online about the movie where somebody called it a shit pickle. And toward the end, Fred did. And the director really, really got pissed.
Yeah.
And he got up and he stormed out. And Fred was just like befuddled. He was like, I don't. Anyway, yeah. And then he tried to talk about the movie. And then you hear the doorknob jiggling. And Fred leans over and he opens the door. And he was like, what, did you forget your keys? And he's like, no, I'm not going to let you ruin my commentary. So he sat down and he finished the movie, but he was still being a total cunt.
Yeah.
And the way it ended, it was the funniest fucking thing. I never heard such a fucking acrimonious commentary in my life. You would think it was a joke, but it was not. But the way it ended was, Fred was trying to say that he wasn't taking what the guy was saying or how he was behaving seriously, that like he knew, that this wasn't meant to be intentionally insulting,
Yep.
He was trying to like end it on a good note.
Yeah.
Right.
Iron out the creases.
Yeah. And so he started to say, listen, we worked on a few things, we've known each other a long time, we've been friends for a long time. And then the director, he cut him off right there and he went, no, we've been acquaintances. And Fred goes, all right, that's it, I'm done, fuck you. And the last thing you hear is the director go, well, fuck you too. And then it's over.
That sounds like a good commentary.
And this is actually on the DVD. Oh my god. Anybody who's listening to this, I highly recommend you buy the DVD.
Yes.
Just for that fucking commentary. The movie is garbage, but it's one of the best commentaries I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, you'd give the movie 2 stars, the commentary 5 stars.
Oh, I wouldn't even give it 2. All right.
Well, it's been lovely watching Shocker with you.
Oh, this Shocker is a shit pickle.
Oh. Tish tosh. It has a place in my heart. Along with cholesterol.
No, it's not terrible. It's just too long.
It could have been better. Really, it could have been better. But I have seen far worse horror.
Yes, it's definitely not Seed of Chucky.
Though a good John Waters cameo wouldn't have been a miss. So.
And it's definitely not Jason X. And then in the post that I was doing in for the Friday the 13th commentary, like I got
For the
all these
remake.
responses for the remake. Yeah, in the post.
Oh, you were so angry in that, by the way. Like,
what?
You were so angry in that commentary. I was
Oh, you listened to it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Because I hate that fucking movie. I hate it so much. But no, in the post, I said something about how I intended on doing tracks for the original series, but don't hold your breath for Jason X.
Yeah.
And I got all these responses from people saying, Jason X is my favorite. What is wrong with you? And I can understand if you like Jason X on a totally so bad it's good level. Okay, fine. I hear you. I have a few of those myself. But there are people who really think that is a good movie, and I don't understand how or why that movie is awful.
Is the case. Yeah.
And I tried to watch it again when I got the box set, the first box set, and I was in physical pain. I was like, this hurts me physically, and I can't do it. I don't know how I did it when I saw it theatrically. I actually sat through that piece of shit in a theater.
Lithium?
There's another commentary that I don't know if it's been posted. Oh, if you want to hear an angry commentary, check out Night of the Demons 3. It hasn't been posted.
Oh,
yet,
okay.
I think it's coming next week.
Alrighty.
I was in such a fucking mood because that movie pissed me off so bad.
I'll keep my eye out for it.
I forgot how bad it was. It's bad. No, Shocker is perfectly. It's fine.
It's acceptable fare.
It could have done with a bit of spit polishing and a bit of trimming, but I would still like to bend Mitch Pileggi over, at least in 1989.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's looking like these days. But I like that. Yes, that big dick energy you called it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Got you walking side to side.
Yeah. I still think that he and Peter Berg should have homoed out.
And on that note.
On that note. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, because I'm so punchy, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying anymore.
Any final thoughts?
Yes. Mitch Pileggi should have taken his pants off. And there should have been some full frontal. And that's it.
A bit of buffing. Well,
yes.
I am going to go have an abortion, and I can't wait.
I know. What?
Just going back to John Waters fair. So I'll speak to you in the future.
Yes. So I want to say thank you to Tony, the Tiger, the Thunder from Down Under for accompanying me. Yes, so And I want to thank everybody who stuck around for the end of this mess. And I hope you'll come back, because I promise I will be more coherent next time, or at least I'll try my best. I'm not drunk, I swear. I'm just overtired. And I'm going to go to sleep now. So I think everybody else should go to sleep too. So
Unless you're driving.
thank you. Yes, please don't do that. So you keep throwing me off. I'm trying to end this thing.
I can end it for you.
No, I gotta do
Okay.
I got a thing.
Do
I
the line,
here.
boy. Do the line.
Until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.